Now, setting the stage for our next speaker, may I invite Mr. Fazal Bahardeen, founder and CEO of CrescentRating and HalalTrip, to take the stage and share the key insights for this year's Global Muslim Travel Index.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Malaysia, distinguished representative from UN Tourism, thanks for coming. Honorable Undersecretary for the Department of Tourism, Republic of Philippines, esteemed representatives from the Taipei government, Spain Tourism, Taiwan Tourism, Johor Tourism, Singapore Tourism Board. I will tell a special thanks to Terence later. Hong Kong Tourism Board, Switzerland Tourism Board. Thank you for being with us today. As all of you know, it is the 10th edition, should have been 11th, but happy that it's 10th now. This started, I probably keep repeating this every time I come on stage, started sometime in 2014 when I first met Mastercard, Safdar Khan and Matthew Driver in KL actually, and in 2014, and then 1 year later we launched our first edition of GMTI in KL actually. That's the first edition in KL. That when we launched, you see Safdar on my left, Matthew, and that was the former, I think, Deputy DG of Tourism Malaysia. He's retired now. We are on the verge of doing that very soon or so. If you see, when I did the first edition, I had still some hair. After 10 editions, oh, it's all gone now. 10 years of vision, 10 editions of impact, 11 years, as Umair was saying, our partnership. I want to take this moment to really thank Mastercard for being with us. 11 years, we hope there'll be 10 more years, 20th edition. Somebody, probably not me, will preside over that. I think it has been a real journey with Mastercard. We, not only GMTI, actually, we have released more than 20 other reports on all aspects of Muslim travel tourism, from Gen Zs to business travel to many other reports that we have, totally we have released. This is probably our 31st or 32nd report jointly with Mastercard. So thank you very much. And Umair is representing all his other colleagues here today. What does, for those of you probably who don't know what GMTI covers over the years, it basically, we cover two areas in GMTI. One is the trends and opportunities in the Muslim travel market. We update that every year. We also do a market sizing exercise where we, announce the numbers of last year and what our projections are. And the second half of it is, of course, the rankings that we are going to, I'm going to talk about. And the DNA of GMTI, I would say that is what we developed this model, ASES model in 2017. So all of our rankings are based on this model, which is a model that has been, also written a lot in the academia as well. And this model has helped us to, over the years, to continue to fine-tune the rankings, because the model makes it easier for us to include certain metrics, exclude certain metrics as the market evolves. This year, last year, we ranked 140. We started with 100 destinations in 2015, sorry, and then slowly we have been increasing. And last year it was 140. This year we have increased to 153 destinations. We hope to continue to cover as much as possible. This year we have used almost 60 plus data sets to around this framework, around 60 plus data sets to rank destinations on how Muslim friendly they are. This is just a story of how GMTI has evolved over time. We, Crescent Rating, started this in 2011, just ranking 10 destinations. which grew to about 60 destinations in 2014. And it was in 2015 that we changed this to a GMTI with Mastercard, where we started with 100 destinations. And then today we have evolved to 153 destinations. And you see here below as well how we have brought in new things in the GMTI in terms of refining the metrics, in terms of bringing in new things that are becoming more important, like I'll talk about in a little while. So this has been our journey so far, and hope that in 10 years' time we won't have space to extend this chart, so we have to make some other visual to show this. Yeah. So I want to just take you through some of the things that we have done the last few years so that we embrace and include, and inclusivity. We talked about a lot of things, how we have done it over the years. One of the first things that we have been doing for some time, since 2017, in all of our reports, we have been highlighting the growth of the Muslim women travelers. They are becoming influential. They are also traveling alone, traveling in Muslim groups. So we have been highlighting since 2017 the growth of the Muslim women in travel. And in 2019, we actually did a specific report on Muslim women travel with Mastercard just before the pandemic. And in 2023, we wanted to go a step further, which is still in GMTI. We launched the Muslim women-friendly destinations sub-index. So that was our effort on Muslim women in travel. In terms of responsible and impactful tourism, we are all talking about it now. In 2023, we included sustainability as a metrics in the GMTI. And in 2024, that's last year, we also introduced what we call the RIDA framework, basically a framework to help destinations to embrace responsible, immersive, digital, and assured dimensions into their services. This is a lot of interest in this model, and because of that, this year you will see in the report we are introducing. It's nice to have models, but the idea is how do you see how these models impact, how these models are embraced in your services. So we have now launched what we call the RIDA Impact Score, where you can measure how much a service has integrated these responsible, immersive, digital, and assured aspects into their service. Future is accessible. I don't know whether, I think most of you are reading news. I think so. The biggest news going on last few weeks is birth rates are plummeting. Lifespans are increasing. That has huge impact to tourism. Accessible tourism is going to be a lot more important, which is why actually last year we already was preparing for this. So last year we introduced accessible travel as a metrics in the GMTI. Also, we introduced a framework. It's a very, I would say, very basic foundational framework so that the industry can use that framework to build accessible travel destinations. But this year we are going beyond that, which is, I think, what Umair was saying as well. We are putting a spotlight this year on the report. You will see that report. We are putting a spotlight on active seniors. It's a serious concern. Tourism boards need to look at that. We are all focused the last few years on Gen Zs and millennials. I'll talk a little bit on that sector a bit later, but active seniors are probably going to be one of your most important segments going forward because of the demographics and because of the spending power actually. And then we're also putting a spotlight on neurodivergent travelers this year, people who are traveling with autism, ADHD, and those kind of conditions. There's a spotlight on that in the report. We have done interviews as well. I think our attempt is to bring all these segments into, as an inclusive consideration in going forward. Then we are introducing this year, as we did a couple of years ago, the Muslim women-friendly destinations. We're starting with it, Muslim-friendly accessible destinations. Everybody talks about accessible, sustainable, and all that these days, but the reality is we still can't measure properly because the metrics are not there. Only some countries you can measure. Sometimes they are not even defined well. What do we measure if it is accessible tourism? What do we measure if it is sustainable tourism? I think, but Even with all that, we want to get started, Muslim-friendly accessible destinations. This year, you will see that, that index in our report. And as more and more data becomes available, we are going to make it a lot more impactful, those kind of sub-indices. Yeah. I think everybody talked about, Omer talked about that. I think Harry also mentioned that. We estimate that there were 176 million arrivals last year, which is 10% more than 2019 levels. 2019 was 160 million, and also about 25% growth from last year. I mean, you cannot compare that because last year was still recovery. And we also project conservatively, I would say, 245 million arrivals in 2030 with expenditure of 235 billion. So Muslim market is somewhere around 11 to 12% of the global arrivals nowadays. So it's, as Sunhua was saying in the beginning as well, I keep saying niche because people keep saying, I say, okay, I'll go with niche for some time, But now maybe I should change the text. I say mainstream. And it's also one of the key drivers, of course, of the Muslim market is simply the numbers, the population. Population of Muslims are, today about 26.6% of the world's population, and will grow to about 28.6% of the world population in 10 years' time. That's about 2.5 plus billion Muslims in 2030. And they are definitely the youngest population, although, as I said, aging is happening. But if you separate the Muslims are aging slower than the rest of the population, which are aging much faster. Yeah. Okay, I think that's the positive part of the story. Numbers are growing, everything is going to be nice and all that. But I think I picked up in the report, we picked up 3 headwinds that we have to navigate. And the first one is, all of you know about this, I think, geopolitics and economy. Nobody can predict now what happens tomorrow. That's where we are. And definitely with the tariffs and all that, there are going to be realignment of the global alignments will change. And that will definitely impact visitor flows. There is no question about that. That will also impact visitor flows. I think that's something that we need to, as a tourism industry, we need to start navigating and building. I don't know whether it's even possible to build scenarios now for that part because it's so fluid, it's so unpredictable. And then AI. I think when I say AI, everybody thinks ChatGPT. We are all excited. What we used to do in 2 days, we can do in half an hour now. But that's not the issue. I think that's something that probably we don't realize is everybody says AI is going to take away jobs, and that few people are saying, many people are saying, 20% of the workforce will be eliminated. I don't know whether it's going to be true or not. I hope it's not true. Some companies are predicting 70% of the workforce will be eliminated by I don't know how many years. What that means for spending power of people to go on travel. How does it impact travel? I think that's something we need to look at. Today, people are talking about, I don't know how many of you know UBI, Universal Basic Income. Why? Because when people lose jobs in mass quantity, they have to still feed themselves. So they need to have some kind of a universal basic income, which I don't think will cover travel. So I think it's a serious one that we need to really look at. And which is a little bit more for the Muslim market. I think the anti-Muslim rhetoric is increasing by day, not in our part of the region, but other parts of the region. That definitely has an impact on the Muslim travel market. The visitors, of course, will have an impact. People don't want to go to a place where they're not welcome. Even the perception of that is not going to help, Having said that, I think these are 3 things. I think we probably can manage geopolitics with realignment. We probably can manage anti-Muslim rhetoric because it goes 1 year up, 1 year down. But I really don't think we know how to manage the real unknown, which is AI, what AI is going to disrupt the workforce. So I think that's something that we need to pretty seriously look at. I just wanted to dampen my 240 million arrivals of 2030. I think we talked, I think Harry talked about it. I think there's a discussion, I mean, while Harry is talking, there's a global discussion now in the tourism field, you know, is arrival the metrics to understand success of destinations? I think that's a huge discussion going on. You know, over-tourism is happening and all that is happening. So what we termed as beyond arrivals. What do you do beyond arrivals? So I think we put together some of our thoughts in the report, what we need to see in terms of, I mean, on GMTI, of course, we integrate a lot of those metrics. Arrivals is a very small part of our GMTI calculation, actually. But I think there's a huge discussion. Is arrivals, every tourism board likes to say, I have got 35 million arrivals, you know, 25 million arrivals. So is this the basis of success is being discussed now heavily, you know? I think that's something that we also want to discussing in the report. Now coming to my GMTI section. So good news first before I go and talk about the rankings, which Umair already disclosed anyway. Good news is that we see lots of destinations now doing a lot better in catering to the Muslim market. We see the average scores of destinations almost increased by 9, top 20 destinations increased by 9% as well, but most importantly, non-OIC destinations are doing a huge job. Their scores have increased by almost 20%. Okay. Let me now go into top 20 destinations. I think Umair was mentioning. So Malaysia has been, for every edition of GMTI, been the number one. But I think most importantly, we see a lot of GCC countries making a lot of headway in the ranking. But what's interesting, if you see on the last column here, almost everybody's scores has increased. Yeah. So I think it shows a huge interest among the destinations. This is just to show you how different destinations have progress in the GMTI. And if you see, there's only one country which has a straight line. That's Malaysia. And everybody has going up and down. I think good and bad. I think it depends on what you do. Then we only look at certain aspects of data. We only look at, like, this year's GMTI is based mainly on 2024 data, for most of the criteria. I think what's more interesting is this, actually, the non-OIC countries, destinations. If you see these destinations, of course, Singapore has been, like Malaysia and Singapore, it's because I live in Singapore and Malaysia, so they have to be number one, I believe. So, I think I have to say this. I think in our 17 years of working in this field, I have never seen a transformation as I have seen in Hong Kong. Within 18 months from where we started last year with the Hong Kong Tourism Board, it has been such a transformation. So I think, yeah, you see, you know, Taiwan, Thailand, and we see Ireland is coming up in our ranking as well. So I think there's lots, and if you see the scores here, so you see that almost every non-OIC destination is doing a lot more to attract the Muslim market. So I think they are going to be competitors, not among themselves, but they will be competing with the OIC destinations as well very soon. Yeah. This is the non-OIC ranking over the last 10 years. There's one untouchable there, so there's still a lot more work for the destinations to do. But I think you see a lot of destinations moving up, as I mentioned. Now on the Muslim women-friendly destinations, which we, as I said, we launched in 2013, non-OIC and OIC. We have extended it to 20 non-OIC and OIC destinations. Once again, it so happens that Singapore and Malaysia are actually on top of this. And to finish off, this is our latest sub-index that we have introduced here, Muslim-friendly accessible destinations, non-OIC and OIC. But here you will see a very different scenario. If all the others I showed, if you combine OIC and non-OIC destinations together, you will see OIC destinations on top, non-OIC below that. But when it comes to accessible sub-index that we are looking at today, it's the non-OIC destinations who are on the top. They are a lot more, the infrastructure in non-OIC destinations are a lot more better for accessible travel than currently on OIC destinations. I think this is something OIC destinations really need to take up seriously in terms of, as I said, senior travelers, active seniors are going to be a growth market, and we need to do that. That's it. This 10th edition, the report should be downloadable. Just a warning to you, it's about 110 pages. So you can print it out and take for your summer vacation and read it on the beach. Thank you very much.